Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome to my channel. I apologise for the quality of the vlog this week, but I'm just not up to setting up the camera and doing all that, and I wanted to give you guys a raw account of my post-surgery. So here we are day 3 post-surgery. Went in for my hysterectomy on Friday morning. Had to be at the hospital at 6:30. Ended up waiting in the waiting room for I think 2.5 hours before we were called in. It was a little bit disconcerting in the waiting room because there were ladies in there that were there for their cesareans, and it just really made me think, oh, you know, this is not that we want any more kids in particular, but this is it for me. Like, this is them starting their, or possibly they might have had kids at home, but starting their parenting journey, and we are putting a very, very dark, solid line under ours, well, under our having more children parenting journey. So that was a little bit emotional. When we finally got called in, I went through all the checks, had all the observations done and everything. It ended up being quite rushed because the surgeon was actually ready for me and I wasn't ready yet. I wasn't dressed and prepared and everything, so he came in and spoke to me, and I didn't actually get to talk to the anaesthetist until in the anaesthetic bay, but that was fine. She was lovely. Her name is Michelle. I'm going to find out who she is so that I can send her some flowers, because my post-surgery, like initial recovery, being in recovery, I didn't have any nausea whatsoever, so I really want to send her flowers. There was plenty of pain, and it wasn't fun, and I still was in recovery for I think over 2 hours, so that's a little on the longer side than normal. I think at about 11:40 that night I woke up and I felt good. Like, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm awake, I'm able to check my phone, return some messages, whatever. But I actually went to pick up my phone and didn't have enough energy to even pick it up, so back I went to sleep. So 3:40, I'm pretty sure it was, I woke up and I was wide awake and definitely awake. But then of course I wasn't really going to message anybody at 3:40 in the morning. But yes, so yes, my surgery, as far as my reaction to the drugs, was a lot better. The anaesthetist said that she looked at my records and previously they'd used an anaesthetic gas on me, which she thought would have caused a lot of nausea, so she decided to try something different. So she used some different drugs through the drip. Actually, rather unimportant point, but other surgeries I've ended up with like quite bruised hands and inside of my elbows from the drips, but this time I've actually come away with no bruises whatsoever, so they must have been good at their job. So yes, one thing I did forget to do, which I know is probably a little bit silly, but when I was going in, I actually meant to say to somebody, when my uterus is removed, I sort of wanted somebody to, like, I don't know, say thank you to it. Like, I know it seems a bit silly, but it housed 3 beautiful, healthy children for me, so I kind of wanted to honour it a little bit, but oh well, forgot to do that in the rush. But yeah, I was out for it well before I was wheeled into theatre, which is what I wanted. Yeah, as you'll see, Terry took a couple of pictures as I was being wheeled in. I actually didn't have much time to be anxious this time, which is probably a good thing. She did still give me a pre-med in the anaesthetic bay because I was just shaking uncontrollably, but not cold. So I obviously was anxious. So she gave me that. Then came back to the ward. I distinctly remember being wheeled into the ward and spotting my brother-in-law, and he's got this like Grizzly Adams kind of beard, and I just thought that was so weird because like, why was I seeing my brother-in-law? Very, very weird. But as it turned out, my niece, who was in hospital as well, I was actually being wheeled into the bed opposite her, so that's why he was there. But yeah, so they ended up being a little bit of family around, so that was really great. I did end up having to deal with some nausea probably around 8 p.m. That night, which was a bit unpleasant. Probably more unpleasant for my husband and my mum to have to see than for me, really, because I was still quite out of it. But yeah, I think that was from they'd given me a pain relief that goes under my tongue. They thought they'd try that to see if I was better with that. I don't think I was, though, because I did get nauseous like after each time of having it in the subsequent 24 hours, so in the following 24 hours, sorry. So yeah, so my family all went home, I think around the 8:15 mark. Yeah, as I said, woke up around 11, woke up around 3, woke up in the morning and was hungry to eat something, but I had to wait until my husband arrived. I think it might have been around 9:15. I'd made overnight oats, which you'll see as well, to have in the hospital, because I did tell them that I was gluten and dairy free, but I just wasn't sure what I was going to get with that as my option. So I just wanted to eat what I knew I was eating. So they were giving me Panadol and Nurofen, and then also this other one that went under my tongue. I did sleep a fair amount of that first day. I was still hoping to be able to go home. I was actually feeling really quite good in the morning when I got up, and which was probably less eventful than when I got up after my cesarean, to be honest. So it was quite good. I actually had made a point of moving around in the bed a fair amount, like lying on my back, but also lying like on either side, because my logic was that if I was doing that, then my organs were having to move around and adjust anyway, so that when I stood up, it would be less of a change, I guess. So I did that, and I think it must have worked because it was quite good when I did get up. I actually only felt it in my head, like I had to sit back down for a bit because I just sort of felt a bit lightheaded. So, but I managed to get up. I had a shower, which was fantastic, because you're buck naked, so it just feels a bit disconcerting after a while. So I had the catheter in, so I had to leave that in. I think that was taken out. Yeah, that was taken out before my shower. So that was good. I had my shower. I felt good for that. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. I'm on track to go home today. This is really great. But then I wasn't eating a whole lot. I don't actually think I had much in the way of lunch at all. I think some of the a meal came that was roast meat and vegetables, and I did have, even though I had told them that I was gluten and dairy free, because that was not long before lunch, I didn't feel super confident that it was a gluten-free meal. So I got, my husband was feeding it to me, and I did have some of the meat, but I had him, you know, make sure there wasn't a lot of gravy on it, because I thought that's where the gluten's going to be if there's gluten in the meal. So so I had a little bit of that, probably no more than probably 3 bites. But then it kind of went downhill from there with the nausea, and actually got quite bad. And yeah, I vomited quite badly in the afternoon, and I was getting a little bit discouraged because I really wanted to get home. I did not want to be in there another night. So I managed to do not a walk around the ward, but sort of the length of the ward, like up and back. So they were happy with that as well. Yeah, as it says in the title, TMI warning. But I did manage to wee like as soon as I had my catheter out and went to try and wee, I was able to wee, and quite a lot. So they were happy with that. And yeah, while we're on the subject, I managed to empty my bowels yesterday. So that was day 2 post-surgery, which is actually quite good by normal standards. So wasn't the funnest thing I ever had to do, but it's done. So hopefully it's all improvement from now on. So we kind of realised that the nausea was probably being caused by the fact that they were, or possibly that tablet under my tongue, but also the fact that they were giving me Nurofen regularly, but I wasn't eating very much at all. So that was quite likely upsetting my tummy as well. So because since I've come home and eaten, I came home, I think I was home by about 9:15, I think, that night. So it was quite, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around everywhere in the timeline, but I'm a bit foggy still. But when I finally got discharged, I was taken down in a wheelchair, because yeah, there's just no way in the world I could have walked it. But the entrance to the hospital has got this sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but it's kind of this bumpy, carpety mat thing that's like, I don't know, 2.5, 3 meters long, and it was literally torturous to go over this in the wheelchair. And then we went outside and it was raining, so so they then went to take me back inside, so I could wait inside while my husband went and got the car. And it was just torturous to go over it again. So I said to the orderly, I don't know if they're called orderlies anymore, but you know what I mean, the wardsman. I said that he could go back and take the wheelchair, because there was no way I was going back over those bumps in that wheelchair again. So I did my best impersonation of a homeless person and had all my bags, and because I was in my jammies and my dressing gown, and just lay down on a couch in the foyer of the hospital. So I probably would have looked quite the sight. But yeah, my husband came back for me, and I made my way out to the car very, very slowly, lay down in the back seat to get home, which wasn't too bad. I was a bit worried about it, but it wasn't too bad. We stopped at the chemist on the way home, and I got antibiotics, because I'd been having antibiotics through my drip through the day, and they'd also been giving me anti-nausea drugs when I needed it, so they'd written up a script for me to get anti-nausea drugs, but thankfully I actually haven't had to use them, so that's been really great. I slept really, really well my first night at home. I think I woke up once to take pain relief and to go to the toilet, and then my day yesterday was fairly I probably should have slept more, to be honest, but I just didn't. I watched a few movies. My mum came to visit, so I ate. I managed to eat I didn't manage to eat very much, but I did eat. I ate my overnight oats, probably about half of them for breakfast. I had some Vegemite on Vita Wheats sometime in the morning. I had my chicken soup for lunch and then again for dinner, but probably really only had one serve over both lunch and dinner. So, but I definitely ate enough to make it okay to be taking the Nurofen. So that's good. I started back on my my supplements yesterday because I just obviously want to get my energy back and feel the best I can. I definitely wanted to get back taking my fish oil because when I was in the hospital they were giving me an injection in my arm which was a blood thinner. So that's why I wanted to get back on the fish oil as quickly as I can for the same reason. Although I'm I'm fairly active as far as getting up out of bed, going to the toilet, going and sort of lying in different places in the house. I lay out in the outside area for a while yesterday to get some fresh air. So I don't think I have anything to worry about with my movement and worrying about clots and that sort of thing. So yes, I've also got my my cold pack, which I'm using at the moment. It doesn't seem to do a lot personally. Like as in, I have to make sure I don't have like my top and my bottoms of my pajamas like between it and me, or it just doesn't seem to, the cold doesn't seem to get through. But apparently the dropping the temperature of your tissues is great for encouraging regeneration and healing, so I'll keep up with that. As far as the gas pain, it really hasn't been as bad as last time. It seems to have sort of stopped at my ribs, sort of thing, like at the bottom of my ribs, and not come up to my shoulders, which I'm very grateful for, because that can be really uncomfortable when it comes up to your shoulders. But yeah, it was quite uncomfortable last night. Just be, oh sorry. So yeah, but it's been a lot better than it was last time, so that's really good. Today I'm planning on just having another movie day, rest day. I should probably try and have more sleep. I did manage to walk to the end of the street and back last night, so which is about 300 meters. So I was happy with that, and I'll try and do as much as I can each day, because yeah, the walking helps with the gas pain and also just gets me moving. So yes, so overall I think it's been okay. I think it's been better than I thought it would be. It definitely feels like I've had major surgery. And I wouldn't go back and do it again, but I'm very glad it's done. When the surgeons came to see me then the next morning, they said it all went perfectly, and they showed me photos and it all looked really great. It seemed to be very neat and tidy inside. So it's great to have it done, and now hopefully I can just recover, get onto Operation Comeback in 6 weeks' time when I'm cleared to exercise again, and look forward to Europe in, I think it's 80 something days, and I think it's about 6.5 weeks to jetty. So that's my goal, is to be fine to do the jetty. I don't think it should be a problem because I did jetty a week after my surgery last year, so I think 7 weeks is a walk in the park. So yeah, but yeah, enjoy the video. I'm just going to show you the chicken soup that I prepared for my recovery time, which has been amazing. Like, I really can't rave enough about this soup. Like, I'm actually pretty impressed with it, because literally it is just chicken breast, some bacon, and then basically every vegetable I had in the fridge, and water and a few spices, salt and pepper. So I'm so impressed with it, because I don't know how to explain it, but when you eat it, you can just tell that all the ingredients are fresh and real. Like, if you compare it to eating like a chicken soup from a can, like, I don't think I'd ever be able to eat chicken soup from a can again. I can't, like I said, I can't explain it, but it's just really, really great. I'm so impressed with it. So you'll see that, and just what we did manage to capture of the day, and afterwards, a little bit afterwards. We didn't take a lot afterwards. It was just a bit, yeah, yucky. Wasn't that fun initially afterwards. So, but yeah, so hopefully you'll be able to get something out of this, and please give my video a thumbs up, and if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Okay, thanks for joining us this week. I promise next week I won't be in my pajamas and the quality of the video will be better. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and I hope you've got something out of this video. Thanks for coming along for the journey. Okay, see you next week. Bye.